All right, they say timing is everything, but we are just learning now that the U.S. Was signing sanction papers the very same day we had those hostages released. Former Reagan National Security Advisor Bud McFarlane with us now. Bud, always good to have you. Thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure, Neil, always.
First off, we had the issue of the cash, $1.7 billion when all was said and done, maybe more, all cash. Timed with the release of the hostages themselves. Several of them have been on this network and on this show, actually, talking about what was clearly a release time to them getting this cash, and now we understand potentially signing these sanction papers. What do you make of all this?
Well, a series of deceptions, Neil, that involved not only the release of the hostages and what was clearly linked with the delivery of $400 million, but also a position not disclosed to the Congress that they were also going to change American position at the United Nations that had held sanctions against banks that were aiding the missile program of Iran, missile program designed, of course, to carry warheads, whether nuclear or conventional. But this was to have lasted for at least another 8 years, and for the administration first to agree to dismiss it or take a position for removing them, but then not even tell the Congress about it. It's a double deception and, frankly, quite dishonest.
Shimon Peres, whose funeral is today, had warned, well, maybe not as virulently as Benjamin Netanyahu, about doing any kind of deal with the Iranians because at best, and I'm paraphrasing here, so forgive me, but you delay the inevitable. In other words, they're still up to building a nuclear arsenal, and there are delays in getting people there to check up what they're doing so they can hide and do a lot of things. Do you agree with that?
I do agree. I think that's even more serious than that. This focused on the nuclear program. It was designed to constrain it. And indeed, it seems to me that it has not only enabled it and assuring that it can carry on, but when you look today at what it has stimulated among Arab states across the Persian Gulf, who today are seeking to have at least the equivalent opportunity that Iran achieved under this agreement. So in short, it's stimulating a nuclear arms race in the Middle East. And of course, it didn't even deal, this agreement didn't even deal with the other activities, the support for terrorism, that Iran is the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world, nor did it involve any of the overt policies calling for the destruction of Israel. So those weren't even on the table. But for us now to learn that what was agreed, which was really a very superficial, cosmetic effort that didn't constrain the nuclear program seriously, and to see that behind it were agreements by our country to relieve sanctions that affected the missile program, this is just more deception than is tolerable. It has created a massive sense of threat for our country and for other countries in the Middle East.
Real quickly, Bud, if you'll indulge a political question, because I know you try to stay above the fray. I commend you for that. But what's come up in a lot of these political ads, specifically Hillary Clinton's against Donald Trump, is he doesn't have the temperament to hold that office, and that he'd be a loose cannon. Many of your old colleagues agree. What do you think?
Well, I think that all of us realize that there are flaws in candidates this year. In fact, we're all counting and hoping that whomever may win this election, that the people around them will be sober, experienced, thoughtful people with specialties in the Middle East, but of course in China and Russia, and a lot riding on that, Neil.
That's very diplomatically put, Bud. Touché. All right, Bud McFarlane, former Reagan National Security Advisor, great patriot, served this country very well. Thank you, sir.
Always a pleasure, Neil.